It's been 2 weeks since the reveal of the starter trio for Pokémon Winds and Pokémon Waves, and I still cannot choose. It's gonna be a very tough road ahead because all of them are awesome in their own ways. I'm gonna have to wait for their final evolutions. And so, hey, I'm not so ace trainer, and as I wait, what will their final types be? Let's get into it. Back in Gen 9, while Sprigatito, Fuecoco and Quaxly start as your classic grass, fire and water types, they end as Meowscarada, a grass dark Pokemon, Skeledirge, a fire ghost Pokemon, and Quaquaval, a water fighting Pokemon. These 3 secondary types are very interesting, because while they're not tied to the same types they were back then, they are organized differently, they are the same secondary types as the Pokemon Legends Arceus Starters Final Evolutions. Hisuian Decidueye was Grass Fighting, Hisuian Typhlosion was Fire Ghost, and Hisuian Samurott was Water Dark. With this in mind, we can look at Pokemon Legends ZA and the Mega Evolutions for Meganium, Emboar, and Feraligatr, and then we'll have a secondary type for Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa's Final Evolutions. There's only one little problem though. Those types are Fighting, Fairy, and Dragon. Fighting and Fairy are fine, we've seen those before, but Dragon just feels like a type that they'll always protect. You have 2 different starters that kinda reach the Dragon type, and both of them are Mega Evolutions, Mega Sceptile and Mega Feraligatr. I don't think it will be used for a regular final starter evolution. It was always used only when those Pokemon broke the limits of what their regular forms were. So how can we predict the final starter evolution's secondary types? First, we can look for a new pattern, of course, like I just did for that one, but that doesn't always work. And when that happens, we can always just guess, just go by vibes. Looking at history, I don't think there are any rules after all. People sometimes try to have them be balanced against each other, but they aren't always like that. Torterra and Infernape gain the ground and fighting type respectively, and Empoleon gains the steel type, which is weak against both the other ones. The Galarian Final Evolutions gain no type at all, and if we look at the Alola, sure, Incineroar's Dark is strong against the Decidueye's Ghost, and Primarina's Fairy is strong against Incineroar's Dark, but well, the Decidueye's Ghost isn't really doing anything here. So looking at Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa, what types do they scream back at you? What do you see? To me, it isn't really that hard, honestly. Brout looks a little angry to me. It looks like it will grow up to be bulkier and finally have a way to throw all of that aggression out into the world. The website also tells us that it is lively, so it has energy, and it is a bit clumsy, so it will be less clumsy as it evolves. For that reason, I think we're looking at a final evolution that is grass and fighting. Yes, we got Hisuian Decidueye, I know, but we also had a grass bird before and that didn't stop them from doing one now. Next we have Pombon, which is all happy looking. It is guileless and friendly according to the website. Well, I can tell you if it is going to be standing on 2 legs or 4 when it reaches its final evolution. But I can tell you that I really believe it will end up as a Fire Fairy Pokemon, the first one of its kind actually. Then finally we have Gekwa. Gekwa was honestly the easiest and the one that kinda sparked this whole video. Gekwa has what is known as a tilaka or tika on its forehead, which is placed at the point of the 3rd eye or spiritual eye. For that reason, I think Gekwa ends up as a water psychic Pokemon. See, it's not that hard if you go by vibes alone. Now, will I be right? That's a whole nother story, probably not, but there's a non-0% chance that I actually got it. Now, how will they look or what will they be inspired by? Well, since I'm not an artist, I looked online trying to find something that I liked, but someone eventually sent me something on Instagram and I really thought those are perfect. So I sent a message to the artist asking if I could showcase them in a video and they said yes. These designs are from R. James DeV, which also runs the page Legends Carios Pokemon. I'll leave the links for the pages in the description and pinned comment. But they did something that most people don't. Instead of just going for mythical creatures without any real theme going on, they went for an actual theme that fits that region's inspiration on Southeast Asia, mostly Indonesia. As they explain, the theme is Balinese theater. And once more, it was Gekwa's final evolution that spoke to me because it is clear that the fingers will have a role in that starter's final form. and learning about the Legong dance and how the fingers and eyes are used during it just sealed the deal. Then, with that in mind, Ponbon ending up tied to the Barong dance, which represents the eternal battle between good and evil, just felt right. And Fairy type is usually seen as the light type, so the good type, which ties into it very well. And finally, Brout ending up tied to the Tari Garuda, a dance that is meant to depict Garuda, who was Vishnu's ride, also feels right. It is a powerful fighting type Pokemon. So, Brout will end up as a grass fighting Pokemon, Ponbon will end up as a fire fairy Pokemon, and Gekwa will end up as a water psychic Pokemon, all taking inspiration from Balinese theater. That is my theory, but what do you think? What types would you give them? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next one. But before I go, I want to thank my YouTube members Good Old Deo, Sean Speaks and Dash Plays, and my Twitch subscribers Anubis Here, Zanes222, Lazarix, The Dr. Joe, and Teixeira23 for going that extra mile. Thank you so much for all of your support.